Hi, I'm Bev Mitchell and welcome to the very first Values to Profit podcast, a podcast for family business leaders. It's great to have you join me here. In each episode of my podcast, I will be exploring how you can turn your unique values and culture into a powerful marketing asset, both internally to attract, retain and motivate your people, and externally to differentiate yourself in the eyes of your customers and potential customers and elevate your relationship away from discussions purely about price. Remember, other companies can copy your products and your services, but no one can copy your unique culture. And that's what I want to help you leverage to help you to drive profit growth. I've developed my own unique Values to Profit framework, which focuses on 6 key levers for turning your values and culture into a driver for family business success. Each episode of my podcast will focus on one of those 6 areas. So to give you a bit of context, let me briefly describe what each of those 6 areas are. And as I do so, I'd like to invite you to think about your own family business and how you are currently performing in each of these 6 areas. Okay, so let's start with values, because that's the foundation of everything. Businesses that have total clarity around their values and who communicate them consistently and really live them every day are in the best possible position to leverage them to deliver profit and sales growth. So where's your business right now? Do you have your values clearly defined? Are they serving you well? Are they relevant to your people and your customers? And is everyone in your organisation behaving in line with them every day? After values on the framework comes leadership. Why? Because if you're going to be successful in leveraging your values and culture, then every one of your leaders needs to be walking the talk. Now, whether they like it or not, people will look to your leaders to understand how they should behave and what is and isn't acceptable in terms of behaviours in your business. If you think about your leadership team, how aligned are all of them to your values? Is every one of them leading by example? What would the people below them in the organisation say about how they behave? Next in the framework comes culture, because your values are only words on the page until they are fully reflected in your day-to-day culture and how things get done in your business. But even family businesses with the strongest values can sometimes have cultural issues in parts of their business, where perhaps less desirable subcultures have emerged, which risk derailing all the positive aspects of the culture in the rest of the business. Do you have any subcultures in your business? And what impact are they having? Then we move through the framework and on to people. Now, all businesses, as I'm sure you know, say that their people are their greatest asset. But family businesses who know how to make their values and culture truly resonate with all of their people are the ones that will be able to attract the right people, engage and motivate them, and most importantly, retain them. How do you leverage your values and culture in your recruitment campaigns? And do you deliver on your cultural promises when new people arrive in the business and start working with their new managers? Are you missing potential opportunities to leverage your values and culture more effectively? Now, everything we've looked at so far in the Values to Profit framework has been internally focused, but the final 2 areas of the framework are externally focused. And firstly, let's look at customers. Often family businesses focus on their values and culture in terms of getting them right internally. But that might mean that you are currently missing a massive opportunity to leverage your values and culture as a point of differentiation externally, both with your current customers and potential customers. Now, this is going to be our area of focus in my very first podcast, as I see this as an untapped opportunity for so many family businesses currently, and there'll be a lot more things for you to ponder on that subject in the next few minutes in this podcast. And then the final element of my values to profit framework is storytelling. Now, family businesses always have great stories to tell, and I absolutely love listening to them. Now, these stories might be related to the tenacity, resilience and inventiveness of the original founder, or they may be examples of how the business has narrowly avoided failure in the past and how they responded to make the business even stronger, or how, based on the needs of their customers, the business has rapidly made changes in order to give their customers what they needed. And there's going to be many, many more examples, I'm sure. Now, those stories aren't just about the past. They're also about the kind of company you are now and the kind of company you aspire to be in the future. They embody your values and culture, and they provide both your people and your customers with a reason to believe that what you say and what you promise is actually true, because you've got the historical background to prove it. And we'll explore the power of storytelling in a lot more detail in one of my future podcasts. So that was a whistle-stop tour of the framework, but as I've already said, what I want to focus on today is the vitally important area of customers. So let's look at customers then. Now, let's face it, without customers, we don't have a business. So wouldn't it be amazing if you could take your unique family, business, culture and values that, remember, no one else can copy, and use that to strengthen your relationships with existing customers, as well as attracting new customers, and most importantly, to help drive extra profit. You know, I think sometimes people see values and culture as something fluffy and something that only HR gets involved with. Well, let me tell you, that is definitely not my view. If you do it right, your values and culture can help you to gain real profit growth. But how? Well, today I want to focus on 3 areas to help delve in that in more detail. First of all, we're going to look at what are some of the telltale signs that your values and culture aren't pulling their weight when it comes to differentiating you in the eyes of your customers. Secondly, I want to share with you an example of how I worked with one large successful family business to help them to change their values and culture into a real marketing asset with their customers that enabled them to tap into both increased sales and profit. And then thirdly, I want to leave you with some ideas of what you can be doing right now to help differentiate yourself in the market using your values and culture. So let's start by looking at some of those telltale signs that your values and culture aren't pulling their weight when it comes to differentiating you in the eyes of your customers. I'd like to invite you to consider each of the things I'm going to mention now and think about how many of them might currently be relevant and present in your business. So, do you have strong values and culture internally, but haven't really considered them as an asset or something to be used in your conversations with customers? Do you perhaps just have this gut feeling inside that you've got missed opportunities when it comes to leveraging your values and culture with your customers? Do you feel that sometimes your customers take you for granted or undervalue everything that you do for them? Do you often go above and beyond for your customers, but maybe don't actually tell them that what you've done and how that links to your values? If I asked your customers to list your values, could they? And if they could, would they be able to articulate what that meant for them and the value that your values bring to their business? Do you find that you're getting dragged into price negotiations with procurement departments who just aren't aware of all the value you bring to them as your customer over and above the basic price? And finally, do your sales teams maybe include a page on your values in their customer presentations, but then don't go on to make the link to what that means in terms of the value that can potentially bring to the customer? All of these are indicators that you might be missing a trick when it comes to leveraging your unique values and culture as a marketing asset and as a way to drive sales and profit with your customers. Now, I appreciate that sometimes it can be hard to envisage how focusing more on values and culture with your customers will have a real impact on your profit. So I wanted to share an example of how it worked for one successful family business that I worked with on this. So this company felt that they were missing customer opportunities and the potential to grow their sales and profit. They were successful, but they thought there was more. So they decided to change their approach and to add customer focus to their core values, to raise their game in that area. The problem was that their customers had no idea what that meant for them, and more importantly, what value that might bring for their business. So this particular client brought me in to help them. The first thing I did was to work with everyone internally who had any impact at all on the customer experience. So that could be from sales, operations, customer service, finance, health and safety, anywhere that had an impact on the customer experience, to help them to get a clear and consistent understanding of what customer focus meant for their organisation and what that would mean in terms of how they approached and serviced the customers. And as they had multiple sites, it was vital that no matter where the location, everyone was behaving in a similar way and delivering a similar customer experience and had a similar understanding of what customer focus meant for them. During these sessions, it became clear that they didn't have a clear enough view on the real needs of their customers, and more importantly, what those customers really valued and what they were willing to pay for, and how that linked to the new customer-focused approach. So I set about interviewing some of their customers to gain clarity on that, and then based on those results, I ran workshops for the sales teams and all the teams that really would impact that customer experience to help them to connect customer focus with what their customers valued, so that they could identify areas which would differentiate them from the competition and which their customers were prepared to pay a premium for. This changed their whole customer approach. They became more planned and targeted. They had a clear view on which of their customers would value customer focus and which of them wouldn't, and they were able to concentrate their time and resources accordingly. All of this resulted in hundreds of thousands of pounds in extra sales, but even more importantly, a 20% increase in their profits with their key customers. So what can you be doing right now to help to differentiate yourself in the market using your unique values and culture? Number one, firstly, ensure your values and culture are strong internally. You have to start there. And that means across all areas of your business and with every individual that has an impact on the customer experience. One bad apple really can spoil the whole bunch if not everyone is living by your values and culture consistently. Secondly, look at your current customer base. Where are the opportunities to grow with existing customers? And where are those potential customers that you currently have little or no business with? Thirdly, ask yourself, do I know what these customers value and how it links to our values and culture? If you don't, then you need to find out. Fourthly, then look at your values and culture and ask yourself, How do our customers experience this currently? What positive financial impact do we have on their business because of our values and the services that we provide them with? Do our competitors do that? How much is that worth to our customers? What are the implications for their business if we didn't operate in line with our values? For example, if safety is a core value of yours, what benefits does that bring to your customers in terms of protecting their brand and reputation? And how much is that worth in monetary terms to them? And then fifthly, identify your biggest opportunities. Not every customer will be interested in your values, let's be honest. Not every customer will want a partnership relationship with you. So focus your efforts in the area with the ones that really do want that relationship and where your biggest opportunities are. I want to invite you to use the suggested next steps, those 5 steps I've just suggested, to help you get started on the path towards realising the untapped potential of your values and culture to drive sales and profit with your customers. If you want to move forward with this, but you feel that you just need some help or some guidance, then reach out to me and we can arrange a call where we can talk more about your specific needs. You can find my contact details in the podcast description. I really hope you found this first Values to Profit podcast interesting, thought-provoking and useful. One of the core values of my business is adding value. If I don't believe I can add value to a business through the work that I do with them, then I won't do it. So I sincerely hope that I've added value for you today. As I said at the beginning, over the coming weeks, I'll be delving in more detail into each of those 6 areas of my Values to Profit framework, and bringing you more insight, ideas, top tips and case studies. But if there's an area of the framework that you're particularly interested in, or you have specific questions you'd like me to explore on the podcast, then do get in touch, as I would love to incorporate your thoughts and suggestions into the content. If you want to ensure you don't miss any future podcasts, then subscribe now to start transforming your family business values and culture into your greatest asset and increase your sales, profit, attraction and retention. And I'd love it if you would recommend this podcast to anyone else in the family business community who you think would benefit from listening. To find out more about my unique Values to Profit framework, you can visit my website, connect with me on LinkedIn, or arrange a call to discuss your specific needs. As I hope you can tell, I've got a real passion and enthusiasm for what I do. So I always love the opportunity to understand more about your business and how I can help you to leverage your unique values and culture. Thanks so much for listening to this first podcast, and join me next time for the next Values to Profit podcast. Have a great day.